Taggart, and by Lettuce Romofsky. Guys, thanks so much for being with us. Why don't we get started, if we can, with this on the front of the Telegraph. We're looking again at that deal that's been put forward by the US and by Russia, of course, forcing Zelensky to the peace table, if we can even call it a peace agreement.
Well, exactly. The peace deal that's on the table, as you can say, if you can even call it that, it's very much being forced on Zelensky at the moment. He's sort of saying here, take the peace deal now or else. He's only been given until Thursday to come back, which is, in the grand scheme of things, considering this is a war, it's been going on for 2 years, is absolutely no time at all. Thank you.
Lettuce just been given some papers there again.
It's very much being forced on him. And the peace deals, he would have to concede a huge amount for it, whether that is land, which currently is still under Ukrainian territory at the moment. It hasn't been won by Russia. He would have to give some of that over. But there are other parts as well, including things like they would need to have an election there within the first 100 days of this peace deal being signed. Now, if Zelensky signs this deal, it would be very difficult for him to win that election because Ukrainian people would feel that he's been betrayed in some way. And when there's also a chance that Russia could put in a pro-Russian candidate who would then make it sort of a more satellite state of Russia.
So much at stake here, India, isn't there? And in the meantime, we've just seen Keir Starmer arriving at the G20 summit in Johannesburg, and obviously a lot for him going on at home. But meanwhile, he's now got the pressure on as kind of the leader of the coalition, the willing to try and pull together allies to get Ukraine back in the conversation.
He is trying to pull together allies to give a better deal to Zelensky, not a deal that, as Lettuce said, basically rewards aggression. And as Zelensky pointed out yesterday, he said we risk losing our dignity, or as our key partner, which is the US, in a very difficult choice for him and for the country. And I think what's interesting is how the EU has kind of been left out of these discussions. Obviously Zelensky as well, but it's kind of an interesting take on how the EU's gone down as a global power, in that they essentially weren't even consulted. And not only would they have to give up the entire Donbass region, but they'd have to basically halve the size of their armed forces and as well get rid of all their long-range weapons and commit to never joining NATO. So, I mean, it's basically, it's not a balanced settlement. It's a blueprint for Ukrainian defeat dressed up as peace.
Also, it's quite an important point to make here is what does this then mean for future conflicts, and what are the future consequences of basically rewarding an aggressor in this instance? So Russia has been the aggressor continuously throughout. They have not come to the table. They have not been forthcoming in wanting a peace deal, you could say. So what does this say for other countries that might be looking on? You think about China and maybe them invading Taiwan at some point. Surely this shows to them that the West is weak, that Europe is weak, and that we're not going to hold people to account when they are doing things wrong.
Yeah, aggressors, autocrats all around the world will be looking on at this. I mean, it feels a long way off from Boris Johnson saying that Russia must lose and must be seen to lose. We're a long way from that at this point. All right, let's move on to this next story. Front of the Sun. I can't find it in my pub.
Yeah,
You've got it there.
It's a bit of a gear change, this, because they have what they claim is a royal exclusive, don't they, India? And their headline, Fergie Time, there, because apparently she's considering a tell-all interview.
Yes, and I do think we need to take this with a pinch of salt, but reportedly Sarah Ferguson, formerly the Duchess of York, before the fall of the House of York, is considering receiving a six-figure sum to do a tell-all interview. And I think the offers are predominantly from the US, or maybe the most compelling, maybe the most lucrative offers, I should say. Apparently, according to this report, Palace aides are concerned she's going to go rogue, and there might be a sort of replay of Andrew's Newsnight interview with Emily Maitlis in 2019, which, as we know, had disastrous consequences for him, for the royal family. Listen, this is a really tricky time for the royal family in terms of their reputation, in terms of the standing that they have. I mean, Sarah Ferguson and Andrew have embarrassed the firm sort of to a degree that I think is quite difficult to even grasp at this point.
But that's probably what's quite interesting about this as well, is because she's not exactly got a squeaky clean record herself. And it'll be interesting to see how she'll be able to go and do this tell-all interview and give all the gossip without almost incriminating herself. She's the one who's also got huge links to Epstein and calling him her supreme friend. And surely that's going to have to come up. If it's going to be a good, proper journalistic interview, it's going to have to come up.
Well, if it has to be that. I mean, you're a royal correspondent. You're not pitching for this interview, India?
You can do it yourself.
Yeah, we're all got our hats in the ring. But you're quite right in pointing that out. She was literally on the record in a leaked email calling him a supreme friend and apologising for calling him a paedophile, and has asked him continuously for money. So I think in terms of like the way this would look, she would receive 6 figures for doing this interview. It wouldn't be the best look as they're trying to.
Do we think it's a matter of time when she does it and she finds a compliant journalist that's not going to ask her those tough questions, right?
It could be a matter of time, definitely. I mean, I bet you there are a lot of people who would be interested in this interview. I mean, who here wouldn't watch that interview? I would definitely watch it.
But I guess it depends on whether they can come to an agreement, whether she tries to lay down certain conditions and areas she won't cover.
I think she'd be rather keen to get an agreement perhaps in place.
And in this report, the person being touted as the potential interviewer is Oprah Winfrey, who has interviewed her twice before, and who, as we know, gave a very soft touch interview to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. She does not challenge. She does not sort of ask those tough questions in the way that, you know, journalists covering this might do. So that could be one option for her.
Oprah does have it in her, though, so we'll see. Let's see if Oprah's the one that does it. We'll see if she can turn it around. Anyway, move on.
Yeah, Telegraph story, letters that's taken your interest, and this is a Bridgerton actress who has been talked about being attacked in London for the second time.
Exactly. As you say, it's the second time she's actually been attacked in London, and it sort of comes along with a wave of this rise of more famous, more notable people who've been attacked. There was Kirsty Gallagher, who was also attacked earlier in this year. There was a man called Jensen Button, who also had about £250,000 worth of goods stolen from outside St Pancras station. Yeah, exactly. And it just goes to show that there's this sort of wave of rise of crime that we're seeing across the capital, definitely, and also across the country. In London alone, though, crime is up 31% in the last decade, and it just adds to this feeling that people don't feel safe anymore. Whether it's your mobile phone being snatched, whether it's your bike being snatched, any of those things, they don't feel safe, and they also don't feel like the police are doing enough for
Do you feel that yourself? Do you not feel safe enough?
It's very funny you asked that, actually. My bike got stolen about a month ago. It was inside my building, locked up. I obviously reported it to the police. They've never called me back. They've never got back in touch with me. They barely even filed the crime report the first time around. So, you know, it's things like that people do expect some sort of action to just make it feel like they are doing something for this. And with the rise of crime that we're seeing here, it just feels like nothing's being done at the moment.
Just to add for balance, my bike was stolen 2, in fact, within a month. One wasn't investigated, one was investigated. Of course, they didn't find the bike.
Yeah. I think you're going to have us
I'm glad you got an investigation. I got
a call, they looked at the CCTV and they couldn't do anything because, of course, the guys were very, very quick to... Yes, go on.
Well, just on this point as well, she has actually moved out of London since the attack at Joe and the Juice in Kensington, which I don't know if you all saw the footage of.
Yeah.
She moved out and she said, I was just looking to move back when this next one happened. So
it's Genevieve Chanur, isn't it?
Yes, Genevieve Chanur. She's a Bridgerton star.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on, shall we, India, to the Telegraph. And I don't understand this headline, I'll be honest.
Read it out, Anna. Come on, it's
Okay, superflu could gobble up turkey supplies. Is it turkeys that are suffering superflu?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's not.
Okay.
It's a super strain.
But I misread that as well.
I'm with you now. Go ahead.
So it's a super strain of bird flu that is hitting farms across the country, which means that turkey supplies could suffer as a result, because when one turkey in a farm has been found to have this flu, the whole flock must be culled. So prices are likely to rise because of a more limited supply, and they're also likely to be smaller when they do hit the shelves, because farmers are forced to slaughter earlier to reduce the risk of the the disease. So, and we've already seen actually turkeys are way more expensive this year. It's apparently the steepest increase has been recorded at Tesco, where the free-range bronze turkey crown has risen from £18 per kilo to £23 in a year.
Of course, turkeys are available at other retailers as well. Big question is, what are we going to be having for Christmas lunch if the turkeys are under threat?
Chicken's also under threat.
Oh
too,
no!
So
That's my alternative.
I can't say I've ever not had a turkey.
Really? You never switched out of turkey?
We never switched out of turkey.
Ducks
Very
are nice
strict
whenever
to
now
it,
and again.
traditional.
Beef, sometimes you got to mix it up.
We're running out of time, but I'm just going to throw in a bombshell and say that I'll probably have salmon.
Oh no, no.
I don't eat
that's
meat.
quite European.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it is. I think
that makes me sound
Germans
very
do that.
cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
Exactly, really are.
I like to think so. Anyway, really good to see you both.
Next hour, let's do it again.
Next hour, let's do it again. Exactly. Stay with us. All the top stories coming our way next.
There's always more to the news.